Welcome to a journey through some of the quirkiest wars in history. Prepare to be surprised, amused, and enlightened. First stop, Australia, 1932. Picture a vast, sun-baked landscape teeming with flightless birds. It's here where the Australian military found themselves at the mercy of a flock of emus. The conflict, now known as the Great Emu War, saw the Australian military take on these feathered foes and lose. Yes, you heard right. The emus triumphed, marking a unique chapter in the annals of warfare. Moving on to the 14th century, we find ourselves in Italy, in the midst of the War of the Oaken bucket. Here, two medieval city-states found themselves clashing over, you guessed it, a wooden bucket. It's a tale that seems more suited to a comedy sketch than a history book, but it's true. The bucket remains a symbol of this peculiar conflict. Next, we whisk you away to Mexico, 1838, where a French pastry chef's shop was ransacked. This led to the aptly named Pastry War. The French demanded a hefty sum of 600,000 pesos as compensation, escalating the situation into a full-blown diplomatic incident. The icing on this historical cake? The resolution came in the form of reparations. We're sailing next to the Caribbean between 1739 and 1748, where we find the War of Jenkins's Ear. It all began when Captain Jenkins lost his ear in a scuffle with Spanish forces. This severed body part became the trigger for a war that lasted nearly a decade. It's a tale that highlights the lengths to which nations will go to uphold their honor. Finally, we land in Central America in 1969, where a soccer match between El Salvador and Honduras sparked a conflict known as the Soccer War. It's hard to imagine a sports match escalating to such extremes, but that's exactly what happened. The only casualties? Countless soccer balls kicked in frustration. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of some of the most peculiar wars in history. From emus outsmarting the Australian military to a war sparked by a wooden bucket. From a pastry shop ransacking leading to diplomatic tensions, to a war over a severed ear, and finally a full-blown conflict caused by a soccer match. Quirky, surprising, and utterly fascinating, these conflicts remind us that sometimes truth is indeed stranger than fiction. Thank you for joining this unique journey through history.